All right, so we are recording the session this morning, but it'll just be me recorded. It won't be you guys, don't worry. Okay, so we're going to start standing today. So we haven't done a standing warm-up for a little while. So let's just come into our standing Pilates posture, feet underneath the hips. Just keep the knees relaxed. Try not to lock out the knees. Just keep them nice and soft. Think of the shoulders drawing down away from the ears. And just be aware of your pelvic placement. So try not to stand with an arched back or vice versa. Try not to stand with it tucked underneath and your weight backwards. So just think about all those postural points, drawing the scapula, the shoulder blades down and in towards the spine, feeling that little bit of a lift from the crown of the head, slightly tucking the chin in, so we're nice and long through the neck. Okay, let's just start with 2 shoulder rolls backwards. Okay, then we're going to take the hands onto the top of the shoulders and we're going to follow that with 2 shoulder rolls, but with the elbow circles as well. And then we're going to lower the arms down and we're going to follow that with 2 full arm circles. And we're going to repeat that another 3 times. So we start with 2 shoulder rolls, inhaling up, exhaling down. And I'm doing a little bend as well as my shoulders and my arms come down. 2 with the hands on the shoulders. Oh, I'm getting some good crunching there. And then 2 full arm circles as well. Just be careful that you're not arching back. Okay, 2 more rounds of that. So starting with the shoulder rolls. That's it. If you know you need to just keep it here, for instance, and the arm circles are too much on that shoulder, then just be really careful with that one. Good. It's got a nice mixed class today. That's it. 1 more round of this just to fully warm up through the shoulder girdle and the chest. That's it. Good. Just be careful that you're not arching once you're bringing those arms a little bit higher. That's it. Lovely. And lower those arms down. And then just give those arms and those hands a little shake. Take them out to the side. Shake those hands, those fingers. And then flick those fingers as if you've got water on the ends, just to get any tension out, and a little shake again. And do the same thing with the feet as well. So just give the foot and the ankle a gentle shake. That's it. And the other one. Feels quite nice, doesn't it? Just to shake any tension out. And again, either side, trying to balance on one leg. That's it, good. And the next side. Perfect. Okay, then come and correct that posture. So feet underneath the hips, knees nice and relaxed, shoulders down away from the spine, nice and tall through the crown of the head. Okay, let's just bring the chin in towards the chest, a small amount of head and neck flexion, and then gently look up to the ceiling, and just do that 1 more time. So chin to chest. And then upwards, bring the head back to center, and let's just rotate gently 4 times to the side, back through the middle and over to the other side. That's it, nice and easy there. Good, head back to the center, and then we're going to laterally tilt the head, so ear to shoulder, taking the opposite arm across to keep that opposite shoulder down. You might want to take the hand onto the side of the head, and you might equally want to take that other arm out to the side with the fingertips down, just to see if you get a little bit more stretch through the hand and the fingertips. You can also, as I'm doing, move your fingers up and down. You might just be staying there. A couple more seconds in that stretch, and then we'll take the other side. So a couple of variations. You can either just stay here, bring the arm across to the shoulder, bring the hand to the side of the head, or you can take the arm out, the fingertips nice and heavy, feel that stretch down the arm, and then mobilize through the wrist, and just see if that adds a little bit more stretch in there. That's it. Nice easy breaths. 1 more time, and then lower down. Good. Let's just do, we're going to do 4 roll downs and returns, but we're going to do it as we did it last week, where we're going to look to the side. We're going to bring our chin to our chest, and we're going to roll down, but kind of to one side. So I'm peeling down through my spine, rolling down towards my left, keeping my knees bent. I come through the middle. I'm going to then go to the other side, and I'm going to roll up through the other side of my body. Okay, so we're almost taking a little side bend. Okay, and then we start again. We look the other way. We tuck the chin. We fold down, leaning towards one foot more than the other. So we've got that nice bend. We come through the center, relaxing the head over to the other side, and we roll up the other way. Okay, so you'll probably feel that you get much more of a stretch down one side than you do the other. So just do that once more either way. So we're rolling down, relaxing those hands, relax the head. We come through the middle, and then we roll up facing the other way. That's it, good. And 1 more time. rolling down, facing one foot, peeling down, feeling that stretch on the opposite side, coming through the middle, over and rolling back up again. Good, okay, we're going to work on our coordination that we might not have worked on for a while. So both arms up above us, shoulders soft. We're going to I'm taking my left arm forwards and my right arm back. I'm circling them down and then back up again. It's this one again. So I exhale on the way down and I inhale on the way up. Let's just do 2 more and then we'll switch the direction. Okay, exhale down, inhale up, go the other way. So we're just keeping the knees nice and soft. You might have a little bit of a micro bend as you take the arms down. So can you move one arm forwards, one arm backwards? I think most of us are just about getting it. Let's change that direction again. So left forwards, right back, but add a nice bend. And then up we come to straight legs. So we bend as we take the arms down and we come up. That's it, 3 more, 3. And 2, keeping the core engaged just to support those bends as well. Pause at the top and then go the other way. So right forward, left back. That's it. And if it feels natural, bring in a little bit of rotation into that as well with the upper body. Only if it feels natural to, otherwise stay completely center. 1 more, exhale down, inhale up, good. Lower those arms down and give those arms a little shake again. Lovely. Okay, let's just take a few movements of the foot and the ankle. So stand a little bit wider, still facing forwards with the leg alignment, hands on the hips. Bend both knees, shift the weight through one side or just lift the heel off. Feel the stretch on the underneath side of the foot and then transfer over. Okay, and just do that 8 more times. And 7, keeping both knees soft. And 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. That's it. Stay on one leg, so my weight's through my supporting leg. The leg that's on the ball of the foot, change that to the front of the foot and the toes if you can. Can you put a little bit of weight on the front of that foot and feel the stretch come up the front of the shin? And then go to the toes again and then over the other side. So lift the heel, make sure you're secure there, and then most of the weight is still on that standing leg. Bring a little bit of weight onto the front of the foot and the toes. Can we do that? And then back onto the ball of the foot and then back down. And then standing on one leg, take another leg out in front and we're just going to circle the ankle nice and big. That's it. Get a nice big view of my foot there on this camera. And then the other way, a few circles, stay in balance, keeping that core engaged. And 1 more on the other side. That's it. So lift the leg, get balanced first, then take a few of those ankle circles. That's it. And then the other way. Lovely, and lower down. Okay, let's do a basic squat movement. So we have been hip width apart. We're going to stand a little bit wider, and we'll possibly, if it's comfortable, we're going to turn the legs out slightly. Wherever your feet are pointing, that's where your knees are going to go. So we don't ever want the knees to roll in. See that? We want them to go over the toes. Okay, otherwise you can stay parallel. I'm going to face the side so you can see me. I'm going to bend my knees and I'm going to sink my hips back as if I'm sitting on a chair as my arms come forwards, and then I'm going to come back up to straight legs, pushing through the floor. So we inhale as we go back and we exhale as we push up. Good. So you're sitting back as if you're going to sit on a really low kiddie's chair. Exhale, push up through the mat. Let's do 6 more. 6. So you're just looking forwards. And 5. Inhaling back. Exhale, push the floor away. And 4. And 3. And 2. Keeping that core, navel to spine to really, that's it. Last one. Inhaling back. Exhaling up. Good. Okay, little shake out, little relax. Next exercise, balancing through one leg. Parallel again, we're going to tap 1 foot forwards. Hands on the hip this time. Just going to do some leg lifts and some lowers. Now, these are really small, but I want you to really lengthen through that leg that's lifting. So keep the core engaged, the shoulders soft. No movement in the upper body. So what we don't want, if I face the side, is that. You don't want that to happen. Lengthen that leg away from your lift and tap. Can only be, or it needs to be just small and long. 4 more. 4. Can you feel this muscle on top working? But lengthen the leg so it's not shortening too much. Good. 2. And 1. And go the other way. So bring that leg in. Shake out, other leg forwards. Your supporting leg wants to be slightly soft. Shoulders soft. Exhale on the lift, inhale on the lower. 7. Good. Lengthen that leg as you lift it. And 5. Try not to move the upper body forwards. Keep it nice and still. 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. And step that back in. Lovely. Okay, we're going to stand wider again than hip width, nice comfortable distance, and then we're going to turn out from the hips and bring our feet and our knees with us. Okay, so we're getting ready for our plie position, hands on the hips. Let's just warm up into that because a few of us might not have done that for a while. We're just going to bend the knees, knees over toes, look down, make sure they're in the direction that they're not falling forwards and weights on the inner arch, and then push back up again. Let's just do 8 of those. So we inhale as we bend. We exhale as we push. If you want to, you can include the movement of the pelvic floor as well. So we inhale, relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, we push into the floor and we squeeze and draw up with the pelvic floor. Inhale, relax, exhale, squeeze and push. Inhale, relax, exhale, squeeze. So lift. So as our legs extend, we lift and draw the pelvic floor upwards. That's it. 3. Pushing the floor away as we straighten those legs. 2. And 1 last time. 1. Good. Now this time, just wiggle those hips a little bit. We're going to come down into our plie. Don't take it too deep. Just make sure that alignment's knees over toes. And we're going to take the arms out to the side. We're going to come up and over with one arm into a side bend and then back to the center, but we maintain that plie. Okay, so I exhale. I inhale, center. Exhale. I inhale, center. If this is really uncomfortable with those knees or those legs, come up to straight legs as you take those side bends. Otherwise, can you go a little bit deeper? Exhale over, inhale, center. Good. 4 more. 4. And 3. Try not to let those knees roll in. Try and keep weight on the little toe and the outside arch of your foot. Last one. Come to center and come up. Quick shake out. We're going to do 1 more variation in that position. Okay, so let's come back. Legs out. The position of the feet starts from the hips, so make sure that you are turning out just to your natural degree of turnout. And then come into that plie again. Soften the shoulders. Keep the core engaged. We're going to lift off one heel. Weight still down both legs, but the heel's lifted. We're going to pulse down for 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in your plie, lower that heel and lift off the other heel. And go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay where you are, lower, lift the other one 4 times. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the heel and lift. Pulse 4, 3, 2, 1. Always come up if you need to. In 2s. Pulse 1, 2. Lower, lift, pulse 1, 2, lower, lift, and we're going to alternate for 8 and 7. Stay down if you can. 5, 4, 3. We're going to hold it after this one. Lower both heels, arms out, hold for 10, 9, 8. Breathe. 7. Soften shoulders. 5. Knees over toes. 4, 3, 2, 1, and oh, come on. Oh. Give everything a good shake. Stand a little bit wider, but parallel this time, and just take a couple of hip circles, nice and gently. And absolutely, if you need to get a sip of water, I can see a couple of you getting some water. Take a water break whenever you need it. Okay, especially when we're doing the standing stuff and it gets our heart rate going a little bit more. So just mobilize and change that direction of the hips and the pelvis if you've just joined in again. So this is a really big movement. You know, we don't want any pretty movement here. Really bend those knees, stick that bottom out, bring those hips round. Okay, and then after we've circled the hips, we're going to look at circling the rib cage and the upper body. So I want you to place your hands on the top of the hips. Okay, and we're trying to create a circle of the rib cage on top of the hips. So this time it's the upper body that's circling round. So can you do that? Sometimes it helps to take the arms out to the side. So can you keep your lower body fairly still and circle your upper body, and then try and go the other way? So I'm thinking of sending my chest forwards and round, back and down. That's it. So we're just trying to isolate the rib cage and loosen up all of these attachments to the rib cage and the hips that might be making our back tight. Don't worry if you don't feel like you're getting it. Just move into that action. Try it another way. If you're struggling with a circle, just try going side to side and back to the center again. Again, not with the head and the shoulders. Try and move the rib cage off the hips. This is a toughie. Just try a couple more. For some of you, it's quite a new movement. And come back. Good. Okie dokie. A little stretch type movement here. So stand wider again in parallel. Okay. And then we're going to face the side. We stay parallel, one leg's forward, one leg is back. We're going to take the weight slightly forward as we lift that back heel, and then move that back foot backwards and just soften the knees so that you're in just a gentle lunge. We're not going for a deep lunge, just a gentle lunge. Once you're in that position, put both hands on the hips, and then let's take some pelvic tilts as we stay in that little micro lunge position. So we're anteriorly and posteriorly tilting the pelvis as we're in that little micro lunge. Back heel is lifted, core's engaged. Okay. Bring the pelvis back to center. And then whichever leg is behind you, place the arm down and then take it up and over into a little side bend. And then once you're in that little side bend, if I face you, tuck your tailbone underneath you into a little posterior tilt. And what we're trying to achieve, if I come diagonal, is that we're getting a nice stretch up through that side. So just come into that position. That's it. And then bring the arm down and step back in. Switch legs. Okay, so I'm going to take my second leg behind and parallel hip width with the legs, as in sideways. Generous distance between front and back leg. Back heel lifted, soften those knees. Hands on the hips, just take some pelvic tilts. Okay, so both knees are slightly bent. And then I'm tilting my pelvis forwards as that ball of water and backwards. Okay, and you'll notice when you tuck your bottom underneath you and tilt back, you probably get a bit of a stretch up that back thigh. Okay, and then stay in that backwards posterior tilt. Same arm as leg that's behind you, take that out to the side, up and over into a side bend, and maybe ever so slightly backwards, just so you can feel that stretch coming up through the front of that hip and that thigh. Lovely. And then bring the arms down and step back to center. And again, just give everything a nice shake out. Okay, come to the bottom edge of your mat, because we're going to do some roll downs into a 3/4 plank hold with a couple of forward arm lifts. So if I just quickly show you, you're going to be rolling down from 4-point. You're going to be walking your hands out, bringing your hips down and in line to that ski slope position. And then we're going to be trying 4 forward arm lifts without anything else moving, walking back in and rolling back up. And we're going to do that 4 times. Okay, so feet hip width, inhale up, exhale, roll down. Take your time, soften those knees, walk out to the mat. Through 4-point kneeling, walk those hands 2 or 3 paces further forward, slightly wider. Then bring your hips down and in line so your shoulders, hips and knees have created that ski slope. Core engaged, looking down ahead of the fingertips. Without swinging, we're going to lift the right arm forwards and lower down, then the left arm forwards and lower. And you should feel as you take those arms off that the core has to work to keep you in that position. 2 more, one either side. And then we're going to walk the hands back towards the knees. We're going to tuck the toes. We're going to roll up slowly and come up. Good. 3 more times. Inhale up, exhale down. So just take your time with this one. If the 3/4 plank's too strong, stay in 4-point kneeling and do the same thing for 6 arm extensions. Okay, otherwise you should feel that weight slightly into those arms as well. And the core really having to work to keep the body stable as you extend those arms out. That's it, roll back in, tuck the toes, have that moment where you're just relaxing the head, feeling that stretch up through the hamstrings, keeping the knees soft. and then roll back up. Let's do 2 more. If it's too much, you coming up and down, just stay down, come back to 4-point kneeling, and then join it. Okay, so we've got 3 more. Sorry, 2 more. So I exhale as I extend the arm, inhale as I bring it back. But I'm staying in that 3/4 plank, so it's almost like the cords, really keeping you nice and solid as you take them. Good. And roll up. So this is the last one that we're going to roll up. We're then going to stay down after this one and go to child's pose. That's it. I'm just going to have a quick little check of everybody, just to make sure that you're all okay. That's it. So from that 3/4 plank, really keep that core engaged as you extend those arms. That's it. A couple of you have taken it to full plank, which is perfect if you want that extra little that. Perfect. And then after that, take the arms back in and let's come back into child's pose, sorry. So maybe open the knees and the hips a little bit, sit the weight back and settle down into child's pose. Just for a couple of breaths. Really feel that breath coming into the lower back, expanding. Good. Let's come back to 4-point and let's just take a couple of cats and cows just before we transition into the next exercise. Inhaling as we come into our gentle arch back, exhale as we come into our lovely scoop and our angry cat. Good. From there, we're going to sit back towards the heels and then we're going to come up to a high kneeling position. Going to take our hands to our lower back and just watch that doesn't immediately shift your pelvis forwards. Even though your hands are coming here, don't thrust forwards, okay? We're going to think of keeping the chest and the shoulders down. We're going to look up slightly and we're going to take a very gentle, it's more of an upwards lift. Don't think about going backwards. Think about just going upwards slightly to open the shoulders more than anything. If it makes you dizzy doing that, don't take your eyeline up, just lift the chest slightly. Okay, and then after that width, we're going to take your hands together. We're going to push the palm of the hands forwards and we're going to round and contract the other way. So we're going to scoop the upper back, send the weight slightly backwards. That's it, and feel a nice stretch on the upper back. And we're just going to do that one more. Come up to the neutral position, hands onto the hips or the lower back. I think of going up and over, lifting the chest, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. How does that feel? And then again, linking those hands, pushing the hands and the fingertips forwards, and then rounding the spine and creating that nice stretch through the upper back. And as you're in that position, I find it's quite nice to sort of create a little rotation as you're in that position. So try and move the shoulders and the upper body side to side and see if that changes the stretch down your back. Just for me anyway. That's it. And come up from there. Perfect. Okay, let's sit to one side and bring the legs around the front. Okay, so we're going to roll down through the spine and we're going to gradually come into our Ladybug Variations. Okay, so we're going to roll down onto our back nice and slowly through the spine. Once we are on our back, do remember for this one, you can place a block behind your head if you know you need to. Okay, if your chin is tilting up to the ceiling, put something behind it. Otherwise, arms by your side. We're going to lift the right leg to tabletop, but we're going to keep the left leg planted for now. So right leg is lifted, we're then going to lift the left arm up parallel to the chest. Okay, we're going to take a toe tap with that right leg hinging from the hip as we take the left arm behind us, and then we're going to return both to where they started. Okay, so this is the movement in opposition. Leg and arm away from the midline of the body without changing that core and back in. So we're keeping a neutral spine and we're keeping the navel to spine connection, rib to hip connection. So try not to arch the back as the leg and the arm move away. So just do 2 more with this arm and leg and then we're going to switch. Okay, so really using your core to keep that lumbo stability and lower. And then lift the other leg and the other arm to that neutral tabletop position. And go again on this side. So we've got a toe tap with a hip hinge and a return. And the arms going as far back as comfortable and coming up. So they move together and they're in sync. Exhaling away, inhaling up. One more time. And then we're going to try it to the side. So this time what I want you to do is pause with that arm and leg lifted. So you've got right hand and left leg. Okay. Your supporting arm, your other arm, is just going to go out to the side a little bit to give you a bit more support. And this time, keeping the hips facing the ceiling, we're going to open arm and leg out to the side without rocking the hips and bring them back. So this time the movement is going out to the side and back in. Same thing, arm and leg are moving in opposition, away from the midline of the body and back in. And you're just seeing what movement you're capable of there. Good. Try not to rock to the side as that leg opens. Keep the hip bones and the shoulders facing forwards. One more time. So this is a preparation for the next level. And lower down. And then again, we're going to take the other leg and the other arm up in opposition. Supporting hand out to the side a little bit. And then we're going to open out with the arm and leg on the exhale. And inhale, come in. Make sure that the hip bones are still facing forwards. So exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out. Okay, and lower both down. So this time we're going to take the full variation. We're going to lift one leg to tabletop, rib to hip connection, lower back gently to the floor and lift two legs up. We're keeping the knees hip width. We're taking both arms parallel up. Same thing, but we're going to stay with both legs lifted. We're going to take one leg down and the opposite arm away and return back in. And then we alternate next leg and arm. Inhale in, exhale. So leg and arm are moving away in opposition, away from the midline of the body without arching the back. Let's go for 5 more. 5. Exhale away. Inhale, return. Make sure nothing's changing within your core and the connection with your lower back to that mat. Good. One more time, and then we're going to pause with tabletop legs and arms above the chest. And this time we're going to go out to the side with one arm and leg. Keep the other ones completely still and move in. So we're exhaling out. Inhale in. If I face the side, maybe it's going to be a little bit clearer for you. Exhale away. Inhale in. Good. But try not to rock with the arm and leg. Okay, 4 more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Open. Good, and lower down. Let's come into a full body stretch. Extend those legs away, extend arms, and you can arch the back slightly and just enjoy that full body stretch. Good, so just enjoy that stretch for a second. Stay on your back. Okay, then we're going to go for leg circles. So bend both knees, feet flat. We're going to lift the right leg to tabletop, and then we're going to extend that leg. If you struggle having that leg extended above the hip, just keep it at tabletop for this whole exercise. Okay, we're then going to challenge ourselves if we want. So next level up would be to extend that supporting leg down. Don't let that alter anything in that rib to hip connection. Okay, don't let it arch the back. Keep that lower back to the floor. We're going to take the leg across the midline of the body, slightly away and down, out to the side and back up again. So the leg is going inwards to outwards. Okay, so the fairly small circles. Don't go crazy, but try and keep the stability with the core. Okay, if you've got your knee bent and your supporting leg bent, you're just taking those legs, drawing a knee circle on the ceiling. Okay, so just do another one that way and then switch the direction. So now the leg is going to outwards, come across the body, inwards and up. 3, 2. Last one, really lengthen that leg. If you've got it straight, fold in, bring those knees up, second side. Okay, so the left leg to tabletop. So we're either staying with knee circles and hip circles or extend that lower leg, extend the top leg, correct that rib to hip connection, take the leg across the midline of the body on a breath in, exhale, down, out, and up. Two more this way. So leg circles, really keeping that control from the core. Nice long leg. Go the other way, outwards, down, across, and up. Outwards, down, across, and up. If that's too much weight on the hip, keep that knee bent and just take those hip circles with the leg at tabletop. One more time. Good, and then lower down. Let's just bring both knees bent, feet flat. If you've had a block behind your head, just move your block now, because we're going to do a couple of roll-ups and roll-downs into our glute bridge. Okay, so feet hip width, arms by your side. We're going to breathe in to gently arch the back. We're going to breathe out to roll, press the back into the floor, peel off the floor. Make sure those knees stay hip width. Lift at the top, breathe in, exhale, roll down through the spine. 4 more of these. Inhale, gently arch, exhale, press the lower back into the mat. Roll up, lift, lift, lift. Get to that ski slope position, hold for breath in. And breath out, roll back down. Let's do 3 more. If you want, have the arms off as you roll up and roll down. Pressing through the feet, just to engage through the back of the legs a little bit. Roll down, nice and easy, nice and gentle. Good. Fantastic. 1 more time. Rolling up at the top. Pausing. And rolling back down on that breath out. Lovely. Okay, bring both knees in towards the chest and just hug those knees in. Give those knees a little circle. Okay, so we're going to do our single leg stretch now. Okay, so couple of options here. You can put the block back behind your head and you can keep your head down onto the mat the entire time. Okay, we'll all set up the legs the same and then we can lift into an ab curl as an option. So we're going to bring the right leg in towards the chest. Okay, and I'm going to hold one arm down towards my ankle and the other arm on the top of the knee. Okay, my second leg is just going to go out to 45 degrees, but I'm going to make sure that I'm really keeping that lower back in towards the mat. If you want to from here, you can tuck the chin and roll up into an ab curl. Okay, it's actually easier to keep your lower back on the floor in an abdominal curl, but possibly a bit more on the head and the neck. We're going to switch the legs and switch the hands. We're holding onto the knee and the outside of the ankle. We're going to switch for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, breathing out on the switch, 2, 1, lower the head and shoulders down, just take a couple of knee and hip circles if you've had the head lifted, and then we're going to go again for another 8. Okay, so 1 knee in towards the chest, 1 leg extended to make it easier to put the lower back to the floor, lift that leg a bit higher. Okay, otherwise chin to chest, fold up into an ab curl and lower that extended leg to make it harder. We change 1, inhale, exhale, change, inhale, exhale, change, 6 and 5. Lift the chest towards the legs, not the legs towards the chest. 3, 2 and 1. Good, and lower head and chest down. Another couple of circles with the knees and the hips, and then come into a full body stretch. So both legs away and both arms up and away, and just enjoy that full body stretch for a moment. That's it, lovely. Bring those arms back down by your side, come onto the side, and we're just going to roll up back to seated. Okay, just going to quick little look at my plan. Perfect, okay, so back to a 4-point kneeling position. And we're just going to do a couple of push-up variations and then a plank variation. So to keep these push-up variations nice and easy, stay in a 4-point kneeling position here. Okay, wrists underneath the shoulders. You will be bending the elbows as we lower down and pushing up to come up. Okay, to make it harder, I would walk the hands forwards and then slightly wider so that you come into that 3/4 plank again. But really in 3/4 plank, really zip the belly button towards your spine. So wherever you are, in normal 4-point or here, looking down ahead of the hands, we're going to breathe in to lower down. I'm going to breathe out to push up. Just going to do 5 more plays. Inhaling down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Really use that core. It's not just about the arms here. 2 more. Inhale down, exhale, push up. After this last one, we're going to sit back to child's pose. So just take the weight of the hips back, relax for a second, and then we're going to add a variation. So whilst you guys are just having a rest, I'm just going to show you the variation. So level 1, you will be doing your push-up, you'd be coming up, and then you take one arm out and return it. So we go push-up, back to return, and arm out. So similar to what we did in the beginning, but we're adding that push-up in between, and we're going to do 8. Okay, so the harder level would be to come back to 3/4 plank, so taking the arms forwards of the midline of the body and slightly wider. Okay, so we're going to do our push-up, inhale down, exhale up, then we're going to lift the arm out and return it. Inhale down, exhale up, arm out and return, and inhale. Good. Inhale here, exhale. And lift, 4 more. 4. And 3. And 2. Try not to rock as you take that one arm out. Last one. Good, and sit back into child's pose. Let's just take the arms over to one diagonal. Opposite arm on top. Relax the chin and the chest and come into that nice side body stretch. If I face on, you can kind of see I'm in this side child's pose. Breathing there for a couple of nice deep breaths. And then walk the hands through the center, over the other way, and just take a nice sideways child's pose, just to bring a bit of stretch through the upper back with a couple of nice deep breaths. Perfect. Back to the center, and we're going to take a plank variation now. If you do not want to do this plank step out in a moment, whether it's too strong for the core, the shoulders, or the knees, your variation that you are going to do is you're going to do your knee lifts and lowers, or knee lifts and hovers. Okay. The plank variation, you're going to walk your hands slightly forwards of the shoulders, and then we're going to be extending one leg to tuck the toes, keeping that core strong, that straight line. Second leg out, one leg in, and the second leg in. So we're going to be walking out 8 times and back in, okay? So it's either 8 knee lifts and lowers or hovers, or 8 walkouts and back in, okay? So from our position here, shoulders away from ears, extend one leg, tuck the toes, keep the hips, shoulders square, lift, have that moment of plank, lower down and in, okay? And 7. Just keep the breathing nice and easy, but imagine that you are not changing height from your 4-point kneeling position to your full plank. The body is staying at exactly the same height. It's just simply those legs extending away and back in. Good, 3 more, extend away. Just really take your time with these. And 2. Otherwise, you're just doing the little lifts and lowers. Still really good for the core. 1 more of either of those. Good, just sit back towards the heels. Just take a couple of shoulder rolls. That's it. And then just to stretch out through the chest after those, just take the arms out to the side, turn the palm of the hands up towards the ceiling, look up slightly and just open the chest and just feel that nice stretch through here. And then we're going to come forwards. We're going to hug ourselves, one arm over, and we're going to come into a forward scoop. I'm still sat back on my heels, but if that's uncomfortable with the knees, you can always be up here. Take the arms out again, lift the palm of the hands up, lift the chest and the eye line to get that nice stretch across here. And then hug yourselves, the other arm on top, fold forwards, relax forwards. You're either here or you're here. Good, okay, last thing in 4-point, we're going to take 4 threading the needles either way, more of a stretch than anything else. So come into that 4-point kneeling position. Okay, we're going to start with the right arm. Okay, we're going to take the arm outwards and upwards. Hips stay facing the mat, but the body opens. We look up towards that hand. We breathe in here, and then we exhale, and we thread the arm through to twist to the other side. Don't worry if the shoulder doesn't reach the floor. Take these nice and slow. 3 more. So this is really about mobility. So really sort of milk both of those movements. Really enjoy both of those movements. 2 more on this side. If it's too strong, extending the arm, just keep the hand across the chest or on the shoulder. I don't mind. Okay. 1 more on this side, just feeling the chest and the shoulders open. Exhale, threading through. Back to 4-point, take that second side 4 times. So we're opening the arm to look up, and we're exhale, we're threading that through. Move really slowly, be really mindful of the shoulders. Really think about that twist. Again, if it's too much with the arm extended, then you could just keep the hand on the shoulder or on the side of the head and use that variation to move according to how that feels best for you. So one more. Good, and coming back here. Okay, we're going to take a downward dog stretch. Okay, so from here, we're going to tuck the toes under. 2 variations. You can either engage your core, lift those knees off, and then sit back towards the heels and stretch the arms forwards and then relax the head. So you're basically here, but your knees are bent. Otherwise, you're going to take the hips up. You're going to keep lifting the hips up towards the ceiling and then try and straighten those legs a little bit. Splay through the hands, draw the shoulder blades down your back, relax your head and neck, and come into that downward dog position. Don't worry if the heels aren't touching the mat. Think about lifting the hips up. Breathe into whichever one you're in, whether you're in here or with both legs extended a bit more, lifting those hips. Lower down for a second. Just move the spine, a couple of nice spinal rolls. Any movement that feels nice here for the spine, the hips and the shoulders. And we're going to take one more of those. That's it. So we're going to tuck the toes under. Draw the shoulder blades down our back. We're either going to lift the knees and sit back, but keep both legs quite bent and just relax the head. Or we're going to extend, keep lifting those hips up towards the ceiling. Push through the hands, shoulder blades down towards your waist. And really feel that nice stretch. And if it feels good, you can always bend and flex through those legs as well. Allow those hips to sink to one side and the next, just to feel that nice stretch and that release. Couple more breaths here. Return those hands down. We're going to come into a cross-legged position. You can always sit on a block if you need to. If cross-legged does not work for you, you can sit with the legs out in front, that's absolutely fine. And from there, we're just going to take a nice side bend. One hand down to the mat, soften that elbow, and feel the other arm stretch up and over. Breathe there for a couple of nice breaths, really breathing into that top side of the body to really get that stretch, coming up and over into the other side. Breathe, really breathe into that side. Any area that feels tight, your inward breath, think of expanding that area. One more time over each side. So into your side bend, breathe into the side body. Good. One more side stretch. Okay, then just to finish, we're going to take a gentle forward stretch. Stay on the block or the cushion if you're on it. We're just going to open the legs slightly towards the front. Okay, don't force those legs out too wide, just a gentle opening position. Place the hands on the mat in front of you. We're going to breathe in to sit nice and tall. On the breath out, we're just going to gently tuck the chin. We're going to walk the hands along the floor slightly, and we're just going to soften the head. So wherever you are, go with that. Don't try and achieve any particular stretch. Just soften forward. So if you're here, that's fine. Just relax the head. Whereas if you can take those hips and you can fold a little bit further forwards, take it down. If you can put your forearms and your elbows down, but try not to round in the back too much. Try and create that forward fold from the hips. So I'd rather stay up a little bit higher and know that movement's coming from my hips. Couple nice deep breaths. See if anything begins to release as you're breathing through. Notice where your body feels tight. And then round back up. Okay, and we are all finished. Okay, just stop recording this before I record